Okay, we will now look at the recharge process via a general journal. The same sort of principle applies to the recharge process via vendor invoice journal. What we do here is I'm just going to go to a general journal and create a standard general journal on the system. Process is very much the same as you would normally do. Add a description. I'm just going to capture the key fields required for the journal to actually process, so you will see some of the fields I will leave out on purpose. So for instance, your date would be important, your voucher would be important. We would select a main account, for example, and I'm picking a main account that has been set up to recharge. I would select a department, for example, and these are the only two required dimensions for this legal entity. Obviously, if there are any additional dimensions required, welcome to capture those. And you would enter then the expense that has actually been applied to this account. So in this case, we're going to just take a value of 200,000. I'm going to book it to a ledger account. Offset to a vendor, it can be offset to a bank account. The offset account does not really matter. What does matter is the actual ledger account that has been set up for recharge purposes. So this is a balanced journal at this point. If I save it, you'll see over here, the journal is currently balanced. And because of the allocation restrictions in place and the mapping that we've put in place between this department code, the financial dimension department, and the recharge cost center, you will notice that the recharge cost center is applied automatically to the actual setup over here. The journal process allows you to select an individual allocation code, which would then route this expense 100% via that allocation code. In this case, I'm going to apply an allocation group to this transaction, and I can do that via one of two means. I can use the recharge breakdown, which would allow me to select a specific allocation group for the transaction, or I can use a newly added feature called the auto recharge breakdown. This auto recharge breakdown feature will pick up the allocation group based on the allocation restrictions, and it will then split the transactions according to the setup of the headcount allocation group. Now, the allocation restrictions were set up specifically that this headcount allocation group is the only one that would come up in a lookup based on the legal entity, based on the department. You will see that the cost of 200,000, it has now moved it to a multi-line journal. This is the way the system has to work in order to break down the actual voucher. You'll notice the voucher has remained the same, and we have the ability to, or we have the visibility of the transactions split in the 40, 20, 20, and 20% split according to the headcount allocation group. Once the allocation has been broken down, you would go through your normal workflow processes, which I don't have activated on this journal, and you would then ultimately post this into the system. Once the journal is posted, the transactions are then available to be recharged, because at this point, all we've done is we've allocated the recharge itself to the individual transactions. We will see this in a further demonstration of the actual recharge process picking these transactions up.